Welcome to another episode of Transformation to Expansion. My name is LaJoie Bradley. I'm your host, and welcome to our takeaway episode. This is where I basically compile all of the biggest takeaways that I got from the previous 3 episodes and give it to y'all in one short little segment. Not really short, but a smaller segment. So that those of y'all who don't have all the time in the world and are jam packed with stuff that you need to do, well, you can get all of those takeaways in this one episode here, okay, without having to listen to all 3 of the previous episodes. Now, the caveat is, though, that if you want the freebies, you still have to go to those previous episodes to get the freebies, okay? Remember, each episode of Transformation to Expansion includes a freebie for you to use to help you step into that new version of yourself, okay? Every guest that I invite, I always ask them if they have anything to give for free to really support your transformation journey. And luckily, nobody has said no yet. So I'm really, I shouldn't say yet. Nobody has said no. So I'm really excited to just give to y'all so y'all can really transform your life. And I'm really excited for y'all to come with me on this journey to look at the past 3 episodes and learn from them. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and start off with the first of the 3. And that is the episode with a dear friend of mine. Her name is Sherilyn. She is a content coach. And yes, not just any content, but social media content coach. And we dive into the ins and outs of social media, what to do, what not to do. Should you have multiple accounts? Should you have mix your personal and your business account? What kind of posts should you post on your social media account? What's going to get the most traction and what's going to bring you the most business? Those are the questions that I asked her in the podcast interview. And I'm so excited to go over it with y'all today. It's going to be an incredible takeaway episode full of gems. So make sure you have your pen and paper out so you guys can get these takeaways. And again, as usual, if you want more details, if you want more takeaways, you will have to listen to the previous episode that I referenced, okay? There's no easy way to get it, there's no cheat code, okay? This is kind of a cheat code, but like if you really want all of the gems, you have to go to that episode. Now, it was a really great episode that dropped, and I'm so thankful she was able to get on the show with everything that's going on in her life. So really amazing show. So let's get into it. So one of the first gems that she dropped when it comes to social media content and really creating and excelling at it is that you need resilience. Okay. And for those of y'all who have tried to play the social media game before, I know you know what I mean, right? You have to have resilience because although, like we talk about, you don't necessarily have to post every single day. You do, however, have to post consistently. And we talk about what she means by that in the episode because she even says she doesn't post every single day. Me, I don't know. For me, it's just a challenge because I've tried to post every single day the past, I think, 4 or 5 years and didn't do it. So for me, I'm like, no, let's do it for 2 years, see what happens. But she said it's not necessary. And I believe her because she is the content coach. Okay. So I'm not a coach at content. I'm just kind of tumbling about. But she really knows what she's talking about. She talks about how she really helped a couple of clients go viral. We talk about the reality of going viral. I talk about my own experience about one of my reels that went viral, or at least semi-viral, I would say. I don't know what counts as viral these days, but it had more than 1 million views. And I talk about how, and she talks about this too, about how, we think that going viral means money, but it actually doesn't if you don't do it correctly. And so unfortunately, I didn't really do it the right way. And even though I had all these views, I don't think I got a single dime, not even like off of monetization, to be honest, from that one post. And so we talk about why that is and why the views didn't necessarily translate to purchases. And she talks about how that's kind of the reality, right? The views are great because that means that person or the person who viewed your video is exposed to you. Think about it. When you are being sold a product, it doesn't take just one time of you knowing about this product for you to buy it, unless it's a really good ad. It usually takes more than one exposure to the products, right? Well, it's the same thing with social media, as Sherilyn explains in the episode. People need to see you more than one time. And then, of course, there's the other aspect of just because you post doesn't mean your friends are going to see it, or just doesn't mean that your audience is going to see it. You know, I'm not. Am I on social? Okay, actually, I am on social media every day. But the average person, they're either, you know, not on social media every day, or they're on social media at different times, and they're following maybe thousands of people. So, what are the chances that your post is going to pop up on their feed within this short amount of time that they're on there? It's not super likely. So you have to kind of increase those chances by posting more, posting consistently. Again, the key is consistently. And she talks about how she actually, I don't want to put this, she creates a content schedule for her clients that fit them. So if they don't want to post every day, she's like, that's fine. You don't have to post every day. We're gonna do this instead. If they only want to post on Facebook, they don't want to post anywhere else, she's like, okay, that's fine. We're gonna do this instead. We're gonna do these kind of posts instead that's gonna fit Facebook. And so she's a real expert at this. I love that she was able to take the time to drop some gems with us. One of the other gems that she talks about, so I'm looking at my little notes. Y'all can see it too. I ain't gonna play with that. I always have notes. So one of the things that she talks about is how you have to optimize your social media profile to empower people to take action. For example, if you have a business where you are selling candles, but all of your posts are about puppies, you're going to attract people who are interested in puppies, or your puppy, or whatever the breed of your puppy is. It's not going to empower them to A, know what your business is, and B, purchase from your business in the first place, right? So you want to make sure that your content is correlated with, not correlated, sorry, I'm like using scientific terms. You have to make sure that your content matches your business, okay? And if you need to have separate accounts for this, I think that's something that she did encourage, because if you want to keep your personal life online, then that's totally fine. You absolutely need to make a decision and then go with it. That's the other thing that we talk about. You can't procrastinate on this, okay? You can take your time if you would like to, but you need to make sure that you are able to make a decision on what you want to create, choose the schedule that you want to create it in, and then stick with it. Okay. And I'm saying it like that because, honey, I was there. I was there. So, in terms of having a social media profile and your business, she also talks about how you have to promote your products and you have to post your products multiple times. Sales. It's not just a one thing and okay, people are gonna buy my product. No, multiple times. Again, people need to see it multiple times. When we think of ourselves, when we think about how we buy things, we don't just watch one commercial. It's usually 3 or 4 commercials and then we buy the product. She also talked about how you should focus on high quality engagement instead of just followers. And we talk about the difference between building community and the social aspect of social media versus accounts that just focus on the media part of social media. And I would say before this year, celebrities could get away with just posting media, but now I feel like it's really changing as the younger generations are focusing their attention more on influencers. And so you really need to understand that. And we talk about the importance of building community online and building community through your social media platform, because at the end of the day, that's what social media was built for. It was built for social media. It wasn't just built for a one-way interaction where you're just giving people information, right? The power of social media and the way to really empower yourself and empower your business to succeed in social media is by developing that community, developing that interaction, that social interaction with you and your followers. And she talks about once you do that, it's easier to have more people see your business, see what you're doing, and have more exposure of the products that you are selling to your audience, right? But you have to have that community. You have to build that interaction with somebody, or not with somebody, but with your following or your community. You have to build that engagement. I also ask her some hard-hitting questions, well, at least in my opinion. I ask her some hard-hitting questions about social media, like should people niche down? And we talk about the importance of niching down. Get started on your wellness journey today. Whether you are starting your wellness journey in the middle of it or finishing it, this library will help you so much on how to jumpstart your wellness. And really, it has so much more than that. It has full guides on how to quantum leap, full guides on how to manifest, and even my personal favorite, coloring books. Yes, and I'm talking unique coloring books. Y'all already know who you're dealing with, okay? We have baobab coloring books, cactus plant coloring books, and so much more. and it's completely free. So please make sure to check it out, especially if you're on your wellness journey, or if you know a friend who is on the wellness journey and wants some free resources, please let them know about the wellness library. Okay, the link is in the show notes below. I love y'all so much. Let's get back to the show. But then also niching down in your own way, okay? Niching down for you. So one of the examples that we give, or that she gives, is an influencer who is based out in Atlanta, Georgia, and her thing is burgers. She is the burger queen of Atlanta. And we laugh at this example, right? But it's actually a very successful marketing example because A, people know why they're following her. B, she has a niche community that she is focusing on, people who like burgers and probably people who either live in Atlanta or want to live in Atlanta or want to travel to Atlanta. And so that example, the burger queen, that's really funny actually. Sorry. Anyway, the burger queen, she's able to, I guess, burger queen of Atlanta, she's able to niche down, and this allows her to really harness the power of social media, building that engagement with her community, attracting her community, and really allowing her to not just gain followers, gain a community, but then also keep those followers, keep that engagement, keep that community with her. But again, it's focused, right? You have to understand that. So it might be a little hard for her to switch up her account and go from a burger queen to I don't know, a fashionista. Let's put it like that. I don't think it's impossible, right? But it will be a little bit challenging. But again, the point is it's niche down in a way that particular individual really loves what she's doing, and she knows her audience, and she knows what she's posting, right? She doesn't have to think about it. Each time she eats a burger, she's posting it online. So that's like one of those ridiculous examples, but I love that example because it really just allows you to have a clear understanding of how you can build a successful social media platform. We also talk about personality, and actually we talk about the two main selling points to really get people to not just like your page, follow your page, but then stay there, right? The first one is personality. It is all about your personality. It's all about who you are, right? She's not the only content coach out there. There's a bunch of other content coaches out there. But what's unique about her approach to content creation is that she really emphasizes for people to show their personalities, express themselves, express who they are, and use that as a way to reel in their audience, as a way to reel in their community. And I really love that she emphasizes this because it's a really beautiful way to make social media and posting on social media and creating social media content with ease. Because we all know ourselves, right? We all know our personalities. We all love who we are. At least, if you aren't here, you better. Okay, come on now. We love who we are. And so it really empowers us to show more of who we are online. And then also it allows it to be easy because now, okay, like I don't have to do a how-to video on, I don't know, on how to make a podcast. I'm not making just an average boring video. I'm making a video that has my personality in it. So I'm not going to show you just how to make any podcast. I'm going to show you how to do a podcast my way with my personality. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what's going to separate you from other people who are in the same field as you. And I also want to point this out, because somebody pointed this out to me a couple months ago. If there are other people in your field, or it's an oversaturated field, you have to remember that when you put your personality in there, it's no longer oversaturated because you're the only one with your personality. So this is going to separate you from everybody else. And you have to remember that people like following people. If I'm interested in burgers, I'm not just going to follow the burger queen of Atlanta, right? I'm going to follow the burger queen of LA, of Miami, right? So think of it like that. Like there's many different ways of niching down, but then also there's many ways of incorporating your personality and separating yourself from everybody else. The second kind of pillar of the content creation is relatability. Relatable content is probably one of the easiest ways to really build a following, because when we find relatable content, what do we do with it? We share it. We share it with our family. We share it with our friends. And so we talk about how important it is to have relatable content. Now, that's not the only type of content out there, right? But it is a really easy way to get your content shared. And so we talk about the details of that in the podcast. Now, there are so many gems in this podcast episode. I haven't even really look, I think I said like 4 things on this whole list. So please, please, please make sure to check out that podcast episode. And she gives you 2 freebies at the end of the episode. So make sure to check it out. Okay. The next episode after that is with Dr. Nalani Valentine. And we talk about her near-death experience as a naturopathic doctor. And her story is really incredible. And I'll give you like a brief overview. And I'm going to give you a brief overview of her story. She recently released a book about how she had leukemia. And what was crazy about it was that she was a naturopathic doctor of 30 years. This means, when it comes to health nut, when it comes to like knowing what to eat and what not to eat, she's number one. She not only knows what not to eat and what to eat, but she has studied it. She has studied what foods are really good for you. She eats fruits and vegetables every day. And this isn't just for a couple of years. This is 30 years of this, right? So for her to wake up one day, had this near-death experience, and find out that she has leukemia, it was like a shock. Like, where is this coming from? And one of the funny things that she talks about in her story is that, when she went to the hospitals for the first, I think she said 2 weeks, nobody could figure out what was wrong. The doctors were like, we don't get it. Your blood work says you're fine. Your organs are like a 20-year-old, because she's been eating so well because of her lifestyle. And they couldn't understand what was going on. And then finally, after 2 weeks, somebody was like, no, yeah, you have leukemia. Like, this is really serious. And so she talks about her journey of re-healing herself, and also recognizing that, what really saved her at the end of the day was the fact that she had such a healthy lifestyle for a majority of her life. What really saved her was that she not only had that lifestyle, but she also was open to learning the tools that will help her heal out of that stage that her body was in. And she even talks about the cause of how she had gotten leukemia in the first place, which is, you wouldn't have even thought that this was the reason how she got it. Because again, this is a woman who eats really clean, eats organic, right? And actually, the cancer had actually nothing to do with her organs or her internal organs. It was actually, well, I'm gonna save that for the episode, okay? Y'all gonna have to go back to that one. It's a really good one. So we talk about that. We talk about how you need to address the negative emotions, right? One of the biggest topics going on in mental health, and not even mental health, but disease is the strong effect that negative emotions and negative feelings truly have on our bodies. Even more so, right? There's research coming out that negative thoughts, negative feelings, they are actually the cause of diseases, of sicknesses. And so we talk about that in the podcast, and we talk about how, these negative energy, negative thoughts, however you want to put it, it actually has effects on our genetics. The negative thoughts, the negative feelings, it is connected to our bodies, telling our bodies, I don't feel good, right? When we think I don't feel good, what do we think? Oh, you're sick. If somebody says I don't feel good, we're assuming they're sick. This is the same thing that happens within our body. When our mental is saying, I don't feel good, even if it is just an emotion, you're still telling your brain, I don't feel good. Your brain is then going to send signals to the body saying, hey, we don't feel good. And that's what's going to allow sickness to start to grow in your body. And it comes in many different forms. And so for a lot of people, not everybody, right? But for a lot of people, this is one of the main causes of disease. Now, obviously, another cause of disease is what you're eating, your lifestyle. Are you active? What are you eating? Are you eating mostly preserved foods? Are you eating fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, fresh meat? Like, obviously, there's 2 sides to the coin, but this is one side that I think a lot of people don't talk about. And so it was a very amazing episode with Nalani. We also talk about how the wellness or holistic lifestyle, again, it saved her life, but it's beautiful because that lifestyle can prepare you for unexpected health things that arise. Everybody knows somebody who. I know today's guest has you filled with questions, but don't worry. You're going to have a chance to sit in this seat on August 15th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to have our first live Q&A where you get to ask the questions to a previous guest. Make sure to click on the notification bell, subscribe to the YouTube channel so y'all can be the first to know, because it's going to be first come, first serve. Okay? I'll see y'all there. Peace. Was just living life. And then one day they woke up and they had a stroke, or they had a heart attack, or they had some kind of sickness coming up, this signal coming from their body saying, hey, we're not okay. Like the lifestyle that we've been living is not supporting us anymore. We need to, we need to step out of it. And so we have, we know these people in our lives, and she talks about how, that happened for her, but because she had lived such a healthy lifestyle, her healthy lifestyle saved her life. That's how I'm going to put it. And it wasn't just her healthy lifestyle. I think it's also her outlook on life, her mental health too, because her mental health was really well. Every single time she was in chemo, she focused on the benefits, solely on the benefits. She didn't even want to hear about the negative side effects. She was like, let me just focus on the benefits. And because she focused on the benefits, that's what her body was attracting from the chemo, instead of just focusing on the negative parts. It's a really incredible episode. You can really learn about the power of the mind and how the relationship that our mind has with our body is so important to be aware of. And really, it really can empower us to live our best lives and also have a positive impact on our health outcomes. Okay. So it's really important. So just be aware of that. It is so important to be aware of that, because it can really, really transform your life. And even if you aren't sick or you don't know anybody who is sick, your mental health, I think eating well, living well, being outdoors, there's like one simple thing, just being outside, it can really change your life, okay? But you have to remember, our brain is always constantly talking with our body, and our body is always communicating with our brain. So you have to be aware of that relationship to really allow yourself to live your best life. And if you are sick or in a situation where your health isn't the best, you can utilize that relationship that your body has with your brain in order to get out of that and step into a healthier state of mind and a healthier lifestyle. So that's that episode. That was a lot. I was like really, really on a roll with that one. So the next episode we're going to talk about is with Dr. Faye Hargrove. And I absolutely love this episode because we touch on so many different subjects. And I love that this episode was after Nalani Valentine's. As some of y'all know, in Dr. Nalani Valentine's podcast episode, she references Dr. Faye Hargrove and how Dr. Hargrove brought to awareness that sickness doesn't necessarily have to be something physical in the body. It can be something in our minds. Okay, it can be something that was rooted in our minds when we were young, very, very young. So of course, when Dr. Valentine mentioned this, I absolutely had to hit up Dr. Faye Hargrove, and I'm so thankful she was able to show up for that episode. It was such an amazing episode. And of course, Dr. Faye Hargrove, she actually gives you not even a book. It's really like a program to help you untie the knots and really disconnect yourself from a lot of these negative emotions that can cause disease. And so we talk about her approach to coaching. Now, she is a psychologist. I want to say her doctor's in psychology. So she does have a background in it, but as she explains in the podcast episode, she talks about how, she knew it wasn't really for her. She wanted to really get more instant transformative results from her clients. And so she really dived into what that was. But she talks about that neuro-linguistic pathway. I think that's what it was. And she talks about her use of that in her program, and the program that you guys can get for free. Check out that podcast episode. Okay. It's in the description. It's in the show notes. But she talks about that program, and she talks about the power of choice, the beautiful, beautiful power of choice. And she even goes through a little session with me where, she brought to my awareness how easy it is to change my mind. We can change our mind in an instant. And so she talks about understanding that power that we have as human beings, and then using that power to really transform ourselves in the moment and step into that future version of ourselves that we want to be. Step into our purpose of who we truly know we're here to be on this earth. She also talks about how we can utilize the power of choice to change our reactions to certain situations, change our responses to certain situations, so that we can, again, get out of those loops, get out of those patterns, and step into our purpose, step into the truth of who we are, step into self-love. But it's really important to acknowledge you have to change those patterns. You have to choose to step out of those. And we talk about how you can do it with her program. We also talk about parenting. That was a big one. And I'm going to have her back on the show to talk about parenting because, look, we almost went into another episode talking about this because it's so important to talk about and to know. But we talk about the importance of parenting. And she even said this at the end of the episode, how, you know, the one thing parents need to recognize is that they are their kids' first and biggest teachers in life. So if you're one of those parents who knows you don't want your kids to experience the life that, or you don't want your kids to have certain experiences that you did, well, then you're going to have to change some things, right? And so we talk about that, and we talk about the importance of it, and we talk about the importance of just making sure that your child feels seen and making sure that your child feels heard. And for parents listening, I don't just mean, you know, check every once in a while. Like even if you're one of those parents who hasn't kept in touch with your kids in you know, a couple of years, 10 years, or even a couple of months, just start now. Start reaching out. Just spend time with them. It's so important, especially in the early ages. I don't even want to say early ages. In any age, it's really important to show your kid that you want a relationship with them and that you see them and that you hear them. And the best way to do that is by simply spending time with them and really getting to know them. And so we talk about that in the podcast episode. This episode, she filled with gems, y'all, filled with gems. She also talks about how she helps her clients release trauma and find peace. She talks about the importance of having inner peace and using that inner peace as a compass to navigate through life. I kind of push her boundaries, not boundaries, but I push her statements a little bit by giving an example of a friend that I have who knows her purpose, right? But, you know, life is lifing, okay? You know, she has her kids. She doesn't have a job right now, but she needs to get a job. And she had job offers, but they're not the job that she wants. And Dr. Faye Hargrove, she gives some really great wisdom. She talks about how, you know, we have to live in faith instead of fear. You know, not taking on a new job is living in fear for that particular friend. And that is because choosing to live in fear means that you're not trusting God, right? So that friend, she's gotten a lot of job opportunities. And by saying no, I mean, she's not trusting her relationship with God, her relationship with the universe, right? And so one of the key takeaways from that podcast episode is to choose faith, have faith. You know, maybe that job that came to her is the ideal job for her. Maybe it's going to work out in her favor. Maybe through that job, she's going to meet somebody else and then have the true job that she really wants. And so Dr. Faye Hargrove talks about that also in that episode. It's such a great episode, y'all. She is just full of a wealth of knowledge, such a wonderful human being. I mean, everybody who I've mentioned in this episode is an incredible human being. I'm always like so blessed to have such amazing guests on my show, like truly blessed. Like I love my show and I love y'all. So thank y'all so much for listening and for watching. We're gonna do one more takeaway from Dr. Faye Hargrove. Because again, y'all, I got lists after lists, but we're gonna do a couple of these because y'all need to listen to those episodes. I'm telling you. She talks about how forgiveness and self-love are essential to self-growth and development. You need to forgive yourself. I don't know if it was with Dr. Faye Hargrove, but in a previous episode, I talked with one of my guests about how if we all saw ourselves in all of the mistakes that we made, but not as adults, right? So we look at the mistakes that we made as adults, but we switch our age. So instead of, you know, me, let's say like dropping out of college when I was 20 or 21, and I mean, this didn't really happen, but hypothetically. So I drop out of college when I'm 21, right? And I really regret it. I call myself stupid and like an idiot for making that choice. It was such a bad choice, right? If I just switch the narrative in my mind and say, that wasn't me at 21, that was me at 8 years old. Would I call an 8-year-old stupid for dropping out of college? No. No, right? It's really important to have this mindset because we need to, especially if you're struggling to forgive yourself, switch the age. Whatever it is that you're having a hard time forgiving yourself for, switch the age. So no longer is it, you know, this happened when you were 30, 40, 50, 60. Now it happened when you were 7, 6, okay? 8 years old, 9 years, whatever age you need to change it to, 13, 14. And then forgive yourself. Recognize that it's okay. We make mistakes. We're human. We're supposed to make mistakes. This is part of the human experience. This is part of the human journey. And oftentimes when we do that too, it can reconnect to your inner child or your inner teen where you might have had the first experience with that emotion of guilt, that emotion of shame. I just wanted to let y'all into that little secret, okay? But Dr. Faye Hargrove, she was an amazing guest and is an amazing human being. And she talks about this in her program. So again, make sure to check out that podcast episode, okay? I love y'all so much. Thank y'all so much for listening. And I will see y'all next time. Peace.